Welcome to the newest installment of the Pedestrian Monthly Update. Our current focus is on the third and final act. It's the most complex in terms of mechanics, so it's extremely important that we get it right. For this month, we focus mainly on the inner city area. What you're looking at now is the monthly area progress graph. It shows completed percentage in blue and this past month's progress in red. You can see that we made a huge leap in the inner city area. This particular hallway is from a later portion of the game. Up until now, it was just blocked out with whatever we had on hand. But as time has gone on, the visual fidelity of the rest of the game has gone up so much that we really needed to revisit this area. And Daniel did a fantastic job of bringing it back up by creating new models and texture, just making the lighting overall better. The vast majority of work that we did this month was in the inner city. We were mostly focused on mechanics of the city, and it wasn't really explained well, and oftentimes people had trouble figuring out what the goal of the puzzles were. They were just trying different things and seeing if they solved it, which isn't what we wanted. So we made some modifications to two of the puzzles and made a new one to hopefully help explain it a lot better. We also brought them closer together so that the player doesn't have to travel as far, as well as we don't have to fill in massive gaps with assets. Filling in some of the backgrounds is a lot of the work that we do, so if we make them closer together, it helps us smooth that process out. We've added two new puzzles in the last month. One in the inner city, as I mentioned before, and one in the rooftops, the next area. The plan is to really add 4 or 5 more puzzles throughout the game. There are a couple gaps in gameplay that we've noticed as people have been playing, where difficulty either jumps too fast, or something's just not explained, or we have an empty wall that could easily hold a puzzle. A lot of these are not going to add too much more work because the areas are already built, so we just find a spot to put them and slap them up there. And making new puzzles is actually quite fun because we get to solve puzzles again for the first time, because most of the puzzles that we have right now are just so in our mind and have been made 3 years ago or something. And so it was really exciting and fun to play new puzzles, creating and solving the puzzles. Here in our turntable of props, we've created a couple of things that we needed for the inner city. One being an electrical load that has a little light on it that changes colors when something happens. A hydraulic piston, which moves around when something happens. It's good for a barrier that we can kind of move out of the way. And that big block thing is actually a gate release. If you want to read more about each of the tiny details that we did, there's a link to an export of our task manager in the description. Overall, we're super happy with what happened this month. Part of our team went on a family vacation, and then there was also sickness involved, so it wasn't a great month work-wise. However, we still got a lot done, and the inner city is a vast improvement to what it had been. Everything I talked about before, the new hallway, the new work in the inner cities, new puzzles, making those interactive props, all of that brings us closer to our goal of completing the third and final act. So we're super happy with what we got done this month. We're so grateful for all the continued support. If you haven't already, please subscribe, follow, like all of our social medias, and we'll see you in the next one.